Well, hello. I'm AverageZen, and you have found AverageZen
And AverageKid
Presents. Yes, yeah, we're once again doing another episode in our series, Explain It Like I Am 7 Magic Arena Tutorials. Magic the Gathering is a wonderful, wonderful game. It can be a little bit complicated, though. There's a lot of rules, right? And a lot of things you have to learn, but we're breaking it down step by step. Every step of the way along the tutorials and covering any questions that might come up so that you, like Mr. Average Kid here, can also learn the wonderful game Magic the Gathering in a low-stress, easy-to-understand environment. Magic the Gathering Arena being a free-to-play game, quote-unquote. The tutorials are free-to-play, so you can learn how to play easily enough. And that's what we're doing today, while maybe in the future we might be playing, even higher stakes matches. But let's cover the basics first. So, Average Kid, do you remember what we did last week?
We faced the player.
That's right. We faced more than one player, didn't we? Because
we tried to go in again and again, but we were not in the color challenge.
Yeah. No, so something that we have found out, and I'll bring up the screen so that we can see what we're talking about. When you get to this last trial in every color challenge, there's a different color challenge for every single color in Magic the Gathering. And when you get to the last one, you have to face off against a player opponent. And what we have discovered is that the first time you do it, it seems to be okay, and it'll pair you up maybe with someone else doing the color challenge.
But second time,
but every time we did that after that, what happened?
We were not in the color challenge.
Yeah, we were up against people with some very powerful decks that were definitely more than one color. And the closest we could figure out was that it was an alchemy. So if you go up, we're getting a little sidetracked here, but if you go to play and you go to find a match, and you see we're still in play here, because we definitely weren't in rank, and you go to alchemy play, then that allows you to play some of the cards that we saw played against us last week without worrying about your rank. But to get where we are, if you want information on the opening tutorials, because this is the second of a set of tutorials that we've gone through. But to get to this color challenge, you go to events, color challenge, and we've already done white. We just completed white with a Johnny Goldmane's deck last week. So today, we're going to start our blue journey. We're going to learn all about the blue cards in Magic the Gathering and what they're good at, what they're bad at, and we'll probably learn some new stuff along the way, too, about card mechanics and, reading and math, all sorts of good stuff. You excited? All right, let's do it. All right, so we're going to start right here up against Miss Liliana Vess once again. But first, as we do whenever we have a new deck in front of us, we're going to check it out, see what we're working with. They're calling this deck Aerial Domination. What does aerial mean?
I don't know.
You don't know what it means? What does it sound like it means?
Air?
That's right. What's in the air?
Water?
Well, there is water vapor in the air. You are correct. However, what do we see that's alive in the air? I'll give you a big hint. They have wings.
Birds?
That's right, birds. And so I think this deck right away, just from the title of the deck, is going to be all about stuff with flying. I don't know. Let's take a look at it here.
Ooh, I see one card that I remember. Water, not.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that taps a creature and it doesn't untap. Yeah, we finally get to play that one. That's always been played against us, and that's an enchantment aura. So it can only be played on a creature. In this case, you'd probably want to play it on your opponent's creatures, right?
Why you wouldn't want to play it on your creature?
You'd have to have a really good reason. It's hard to think of one.
Make them into a false sense of confidence?
I don't know if that's a good enough reason, but I like the way you're going here. So let's start with our 1-drops, our 1 mana cost. This is an instant spell. So when can you play an instant spell?
When someone's blocking, like your creatures when they're blocking.
That is technically correct, but it's more correct to say you can play an instant spell at any time that you could react to something. Okay? So anytime anybody does anything except for play a land, then you should be able to cast an instant spell. Okay?
Okay, now we go on to the next one. I've seen that one before.
So this one, well, yeah, but do you know what it does? For 1 blue mana?
Return target creature.
Yeah, you can read it over here.
Return target creature to its owner hand.
That's right. So there's 2 ways we can use, this is what you call a bounce effect. Because when you picture we're summoning a ball instead of a card, and we throw it out on the battlefield, and then it bounces on the battlefield, and then when it comes back up, we catch it. Okay, so an unsummon is like a bounce effect. That's where somebody threw something out on the battlefield, and then we throw it back to their hand. Now here's where it's tricky, because we can use this card against our opponent if they have something out that we don't want them to have, a creature, and it's in our way, and like if we want to attack and they got a big creature in the way, we can put it back in their hand. And you know what? Since if it's our turn when we do that, then they won't be able to play it right away unless it has flash. Okay, so that's one way we can use it. We can use it to get rid of our opponent's creatures. Now, here's another way we can play something like that. What if our opponent has a spell like this water knot here, and they're going to cast it on one of our creatures? Can you think of something we could do with unsummon?
We could unsummon that?
We could unsummon our own creature, and that way, when they try to play that spell,
it won't work.
It won't work. It'll just go, it'll say, oh, where'd you go? I don't know. Okay.
They won't know.
All right.
If you have that.
Now, this is a new kind of creature, and it has a new word on it. So whenever we see a new ability word, in fact, there's 2 ability words here that we have not seen before in a deck that we've played. So let's check them out.
Defender and Scry.
That's right. So this is a wall, and walls famously cannot move. So they have defender. That means they cannot attack, but they can still stop other people from attacking. Okay, because they can block.
Take damage?
Yes, they do take damage. Now, so defender just means it can attack, but scry. Once you read what scry says.
Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library.
That's right. That's right. So this lets us search through our deck for a card that we might want. And if we have something on top of our deck that we don't want, we can put it on bottom. We say, nope, we don't want that one. Let's find something else.
Okay, now we go on to the
and so that does that when it comes into the battlefield. All right. Waterkin Shaman
has flying.
Is whenever a creature you control with flying enters, then Waterkin Shaman gets +1/+1. I can see where you got to slow down. And just because you see that word flying, don't stop reading. You want to know what that card does. Okay, read your cards, kids. Always read your cards. Even professional Magic players will sometimes misread a card, and that could cost them the game. All right, so if you're ever in doubt, if you're not sure that you know exactly what that card does, just take a second. Just read it. It'll tell you what it does.
Like in Minecraft Hardcore, if you die, you lose the entire thing.
All right, this one, that's just flavor text, right? That's what the italics mean. So, for the river heralds the immortal sun is an object of terror and devastation. The idea that anyone would retrieve it for their own use is utterly abhorrent. There's a lot of big words in that. That just means they don't want you to have the immortal sun.
What's that good?
Now, this is a cool one. Remember how we were talking about how we can use unsummon to protect our creatures? Well, this is a card that does that same thing.
And it has hexproof.
That's right. Why don't we read what hexproof is?
A player or a permanent with hexproof cannot be targeted of spells or abilities your opponent's control.
That's right. So anything, you notice how it says target creature you control? So anytime you see the word target, that makes sense. You have to pick a target for the spell, right? Okay, well, if something has hexproof and your opponent has to target it, they can't. It's like it's not there. They can't target it. They can't touch it. No touching.
It's like it's a ghost. If they try to touch it, they'll just go through it.
That's right. But here's where it gets tricky. Because not all spells need to target to do something bad. You have what you call sweepers or board wipes. And that's something that would say, destroy all creatures. Well, you don't see the word target in that. I didn't say the word target. It says all. Okay, so hexproof won't stop something like that, but it will stop a lot of things. Okay, so that's something good that we could do to save our creature if it was about to die for some reason, or if we needed to make it a little bit tougher. But it's only till end of turn, so that's where you want to save that until it's definitely going to save your butt.
Like if there's like a 6/6 card on there.
Now here we start getting into the flying creatures. Why? I guess this is why we're calling it aerial domination. Because look here, we've got 3 of these guys, and they're all flyers, and when they come into the battlefield, we draw a card, so they replace themselves with a new card.
And then the next one.
This one's a cool one. It is another flyer, but it says creature spells with flying that you cast cost 1 colorless less. So if we have this on the battlefield, and we cast this guy, it'll only cost 2. It'll cost 1 blue, and then 2 minus 1, because that's 2 colorless.
Means 1.
That's right.
And 1 plus 1, 2.
Okay, now don't make this mistake, because it just has the colorless mana symbol. So that means even if we have 2 of these on the battlefield, they do add up. But we'd still have to cast we still have to have the 1 blue mana symbol, because it doesn't reduce that. It only reduces the colorless mana.
So then we'd have to play 4 mana.
Yeah, we could have 6 of these on the battlefield if we could do that somehow, and this would still cost 1 blue mana. Okay, even though it's getting a -6 reduction in cost. Okay,
This next one.
just like this one. Okay, this one also has cost reduction, but what does this one do? And this one's a sorcery. Do you remember how a sorcery is different than an instant?
No.
Okay, well, a sorcery can only be played in our main phases. Do you remember when our main phases are? When are the main phases?
After combat and before combat.
That's right, right before combat and right after combat. So that a sorcery can only be played at those times. So that means if maybe you had more creatures with flying before combat and you thought maybe some of them might die in combat, maybe you play this before combat. Or if maybe you had some way to make more flying creatures in combat, then that would be a good reason to play this after combat.
And I just noticed something. It's not colorless and not blue. It's 1 less. It doesn't say.
Yeah, well, it's just like this one here. 1 less to cast. And so that only takes away the cost from the colorless mana. So this would cost, if we had 2 of these out in play, those have flying. So that would make this cost only 1 blue mana. And what do we get if we cast this spell?
2 cards.
That's right, we draw 2 cards, so that's good. Blue is real. Have you noticed a theme yet? What are 2 things you think blue is really good at?
Making you have to spend less mana and giving you cards.
Well, you're close. This deck makes it look like blue is really good at reducing costs of things, and that's kind of true. What they're really good at is drawing cards and having a lot of flying creatures.
I said one of those.
Yeah, you're right.
Drawing cards.
Now, this ability here gets on to a third thing that blue is really good at. bending the rules of the game. That's kind of a general thing that the blue is really good at. Think of, they're like the master wizards in Harry Potter. Okay, if Dumbledore played Magic the Gathering, he would be a blue wizard, definitely. Okay, and so that's my opinion anyway. Any of you Harry Potter fans, you're welcome to express your opinions in the comments section, right? Yeah.
You don't need to explain what or not, because we saw it before.
Okay, and there's that scry again. So this creature helps us scry. Now this is a cool. Yeah, scry 2. So we can go 2 cards deep instead of just 1 and dig for our answers. Now this one's a cool one. Remember how we had that one white card that would tap all of our opponent's creatures with power 2 or less?
Let me guess. This thing does the same thing.
Except it taps all creatures target player controls.
Ooh, this one's better.
And then read the second sentence.
During that player's next untap step.
They don't untap. So that means if we play this on our turn, which we have to because it's a sorcery, and we can play it before our combat, we can tap all of their creatures, then we attack in, and when it comes back around to their turn, they still won't untap. They won't untap again until a whole nother turn until it comes back to them.
We can attack them again.
That's right, as long as they don't play any other creatures. Yes, that's right. So this is a powerful card. It could potentially allow you to attack 2 times without anything getting in your way. That is powerful. For 4 mana, that's pretty good. All right, we got a couple more to go through. This is just a flyer that makes our other flyers a little bit stronger, more attack. Okay.
Now, this one's a good one, the 4/3.
That's right. Okay, and this one has an interesting ability, okay? Let's think about this for a second. It is a 4/3, so it can attack for 4 power and has a defense of 3. It is a flyer, so that means it can't be blocked except by what?
Flying and reach.
That's right. Creatures with flying or creatures with reach. But what does that second sentence say? Let's take a look at that.
Spell creatures you control get a +1/+1.
No, let's read. Let's slow down. Read all the words. Whenever
you cast a
non-creature spell,
creatures you control get a +1/+1 until end of turn.
Okay, what do you think a non-creature spell means?
A spell that's not a creature.
That's exactly right. So any spell in our deck
that's not a creature
or a land, because lands are not technically spells. You don't cast them. Okay, you play lands. So every single spell that's not a creature in our deck, that's a creature. That's a creature. That's a creature. That is not a creature. Okay, that is not a creature. These are not creatures. These are not creatures. This is not a creature. This is not a creature. Okay, so we have a lot of spells in our deck that if we get that creature out, we could be making, especially if we cast something like Sleep. Yeah, and make all of our creatures bigger while this guy's out, and then at the same time tap all of our opponent's creatures.
Oh, I get why it's called Sleep, because it makes them tap like they fell asleep.
Yeah, they just fell asleep in the middle of battle.
So they can't do anything.
And then we have a really good card here.
Target players draw 7 cards.
Yeah, you probably want to target yourself with this most of the time, except there's one rule that we haven't talked about yet. I realize we know that we win the game if we can reduce our opponent's life total to 0, right?
Right.
That's how we usually win the game. What if I told you there's actually a lot of different ways to win the game?
I mean, one way to win the game if someone nopes out.
Oh, yeah, if they nope out, they concede. That is one way to win the game. You're right. So that's a second way to win the game if they concede. Okay. But what if I told you that you lose the game if your deck doesn't have any cards in it left and you have to draw one? Did you know that's another way to lose the game?
No.
Yeah. If something is making you draw a card and
You
you
have no
and you
cards.
have 0 cards left in your deck.
Except that one, and you play it.
No. If you have 0 cards left in your deck and something is making you draw a card, you lose the game.
Oh, and look, they have to draw 7 cards.
So yeah, this is another spell, just like Unsummon, that we can think of using this spell in 2 different ways. We can use it for ourselves to get cards, or
we can
if our opponent had 6 or 7 cards left in their library and we cast this on our turn, then they draw all the cards left in their deck, and then when we pass the turn and they have to draw a card for their turn and they don't have any cards left, they lose. There are a lot of other ways to win this game.
Like if they have 0 cards before the main phase.
Okay.
Play that.
All right, so let's be thinking about this. And then we've got, looks like a bunch of other big creatures here. And that's probably, we'll just read them when we get to them, because we've covered most of the basics here. Those are the big creatures, so we probably won't even see those.
It's been 21 minutes.
That's right. Well, we had to explain the deck, but we know the game won't take long. You're a master at this by now, right?
One time I beat them in 1 shot, right?
1 turn. All right, let's hit it. We're up against Liliana Vess. That's the Black Mage herself. She's going to be bringing the death. We are playing as Jace Balerion, the Mind Mage.
You want to play land?
Oh yeah, we don't want to miss a land drop. Now, we might have wanted to mulligan this hand. We don't have anything until turn 3, buddy.
Oh, but look at these.
Yeah.
Are some good cards.
Those are good cards. But in the meantime, we're going to get run over like we're on the interstate and walking around with a blindfold. But yeah, we don't miss a land drop, but that's all we can do. Now, next turn, maybe we can finally play something.
Yes, 2 of those.
All right. Now, play your land.
So then you can
Now, slow down, because we have to think about this. That would make our creatures cheaper, but they're playing black. They're almost certainly going to kill whatever we play right now. So I think it's best to play something that does something for us immediately. Okay.
This one's a good one. These 2 are a good one. This one's a good one because even if both of them attacked, it would still survive.
That's true, but they may have spells that can kill them, and we can't afford to play that one yet anyway. That costs 5.
So we can even play one of these 3.
Yeah, and if we play the Cloudkin Seer, then we get to draw a card immediately when it comes into the battlefield. If we play that, the Warden of Evos Isle, it will make our other flyers cheaper. But
we want to have cards.
Well, it will make our other cards cheaper that fly, but if we pass the turn and our opponent kills it, that's just a blowout for us. We just wasted our turn and we got nothing.
So we want to play this.
That's what I'm afraid of, buddy. If you play that they're gonna kill it, and then we get nothing. At least if you play the Cloudkin Seer,
we'll get a card
back. We get a card back. That's right. It replaces itself.
Ooh,
and look, see, it literally replaced itself with another one.
No wonder it's so good.
Yeah, and so now since we have all those, let's read what their cards do. When it dies, target creature and opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That means until the end of turn, it lowers something's power and toughness by 1.
Okay, so we want to block.
I think we do.
We'll kill that one.
We will, and then it will have nothing. No, we want to block. We want to block because if we'll kill 1, and then it will have nothing to give the -1 counter to. If we wait to kill it and we play another creature, then we'll kill that. But then when it dies, it'll kill something else of ours, and that's no good. We don't want to get 2 for 1. That would kill 2 of our things for 1 of their things.
So we just want to do 1.
Yeah. That we're not under a ton of pressure. But now,
look all these set.
Okay, now I think we play a land, and then we play one of each. We play a Warden of Evos Isle.
So we want to play that first.
Uh-huh.
And then we play...
And, oh, no! Okay, never mind. We need one more land. I didn't do math. This is why you do math. That's okay, though. Don't block. No, we don't want to block. We'll see if they kill it. Okay, we got a break. They did not kill it. If that would have been a player, it probably would have been dead. That's okay, though, because now... Wait. Play a land. Play a land. Play a land. Play a land.
How do you undo it?
Just click on it while it's still in your hand. Remember, if... Hey, look. As long as it's still blue, if you let go, it goes back to your hand. If you wait until it turns gold, then that means you're going to play it. So put it back. Now, if you ever start to grab something accidentally, all you got to do is put it back down until it turns blue.
We play land.
There you go.
And then we can play 2 of those.
Now, well, hold on now. Let's think about this. Let's do math again. Our Warden of Evos Isle in our hand, that one costs 2. But if we play that, we have 5 mana.
One.
Then we can play... I think we should play the Warden of Evos Isle first, because that's going to reduce the cost even more.
Now look they only cost 1.
That's right. Now they only cost 1.
So now we can play both of those.
That's right. And then we draw a bunch of... Oh, and now we can play another one. Look at that.
Now we can play...
We drew another one.
And now we can play this last one.
Oh, man. Look at us go. All right. And they can't block. So,
oh, Jack.
Yeah, and in next turn, we're going to have a great... Look at what we have in our hand now. All right, that's going to make all of our other creatures huge, because we're going to be able to play both of those on our next turn. So do not block, because our creatures are about to kill them. We're just going to blow them out of the water.
Huh?
All right?
Oh, that one's good.
We don't even need it. Just put down a land and then play our 2 creatures. And that'll make everything bigger. Look at that. They all have 4 power, and we have 5 of them. What's 5 times 4?
I don't remember.
Well, we have 4 groups of 5. So 5.
6.
No, hold on. We have 4 groups of 5. So what's 5 plus 5?
10.
Uh-huh. And then what's another 5 plus 10?
15.
And then what's another 5 plus 10?
20.
That's right. We're about to deal 20 damage in the air unless they stop it.
Okay. Let's keep done.
You see what I'm talking about? Slow down. Read your cards. Think about the best, most efficient way to play them in what order. And as long as you get an okay draw and you're making smart decisions, you'll have good games.
I think we can do another one.
We will next week. So yeah, you may not win every game, but at least you can say you played a good game if you do all those things, all right? We're never going to win all of the games, okay? Even the best decks in the meta on this here in standard ranked only have a 60% win rate, okay? So that means almost half the time you lose, okay?
And we just won in like 1 minute.
That's right. That was a good game. All right. Good game, partner. As always, please remember to like, subscribe, follow, give us a comment. I hope you're having fun and enjoying what we're doing here and following along and learning yourself. Did we have fun today?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, I just noticed this shark spider.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be...
That's reach and vigilance.
That's right. That's going to be next week's challenge. We got to play Vivian Reed again, but this time with our blue deck. Oh, yeah. And so, let's remember, love one another, be cool, don't be a jerk, and have fun
playing
Magic the Gathering.
Bye.
Bye.